I was upset and tried to talk with him about how the situation made me feel, especially since this wasn't a case of a separate trip being planned ahead of time. This was a case of me being invited and then uninvited from a week-long tropical vacation with a female friend of his who I had never met before. We eventually decided to take a trip together to Copenhagen, which we had both wanted to visit, as some sort of compromise. I also asked to meet her so that I could feel more comfortable with the trip. We spent the 4th of July visiting her and her boyfriend in the city where they live, and although it was nice to put a face to a name, it was ultimately a very cold trip, and she was not at all welcoming to me. My boyfriend remarked on how unfriendly she was, to both of us, he thought, and said he was surprised she didn't act warmly toward me. I went out of my way to try to get to know her and her boyfriend. I'm very outgoing and friendly, and usually this would be easy, but it didn't really click, even after several days. They were somewhat cold to each other as well. They bickered a little about their future and his own 3-week trip without her that was scheduled for the same time as their trip. This had been scheduled before ours. This had been my effort to feel better about the trip, so I told my boyfriend that I still didn't feel comfortable with things and that I was feeling insulted by the way it was handled. I had tried to smooth things over between all of us, and I asked him to please come up with something that could help me feel better about the trip.